Let's talk about Nano Banana. We're going to go in depth. I'm going to show you everything about it, where you can use it, how to use it, why you should use it, and we're going to cover 3 different ways in which you can best utilize this crazy tool. Now, if you're new to the channel, if you don't know who I am, nice to meet you. My name is Tyrin Barney. My mission is to help people just like you design a life and a business around their passions, powered by AI, content, automation, and discipline. Now, let's jump right in. So, utilizing the links down below, there should be 2. Okay, the first one is nanobanana.ai. Simple. The other is going to be aistudio.google, and both of these are going to allow you to use Nano Banana. Okay, so Tyron, what is the difference? Well, my friend, Nano Banana is Google's fancy name for their 2.5 flash model. Okay, so if you just want to play with it, if you're not extremely serious, you can get away with the basic plan right here, which is $10 a month. Gives you about 50 high quality images. All right, or you can go pro, you can go max. It really doesn't matter. Whatever you can afford, whatever you're comfortable spending. But in all honesty, I would just use it through Google AI Studio, which I believe you can use for free. Now, I would just recommend using Google AI Studio, okay? Especially if you have a Google Workspace subscription, you can utilize it for free. And I also would highly recommend getting their Ultra plan, because not only do you get unlimited generations with Nano Banana, but you also get VO3, which you get unlimited fast generations. And Nano Banana and VO3 just go hand in hand. But anyway, I digress. Just get started with Google. Just go to aistudio.google.com, and then we're going to go here to try Nano Banana, and then this should turn yellow. Or if for whatever reason they change that, if you go up here in the corner, you can toggle on the models that you want to use. Okay, so just make sure you go to Nano Banana right here, bam, and we're ready to go. But first and foremost, especially for those who've never used Google AI Studio, you may be a little confused and not really know where to start. Though the UI is simple, there are some things that we can modify. All right, so we have here the token count. This is the amount of tokens currently in play. Okay, so this prompt right here is 11 tokens. If we delete that, then it goes to 0. So you can kind of calculate the amount of tokens you want to use, especially if you go into the API. You can kind of manage costs that way. Temperature equals creativity. It's the amount of creativity you want the AI model to have. So the lower the temperature, the lower the creativity, and vice versa. 1 temperature is a good place to start, and then depending on your outputs, you can adjust it accordingly. If you want something more in line with your prompt, obviously lower the temperature. And if you're looking for something a little more out of the box, you can raise the temperature. Personally, I don't go below like 0.3 or above 1.5. Okay, those are my guidelines, but obviously feel free to experiment. Now, in the advanced settings, we have safety settings. So this is where you can actually modify the guardrails for the model. So you're not getting stuff that's like bloody or offensive in that manner. See, you have 4 different criteria. So harassment, hate, sexually explicit, dangerous content. Now, Google still has their guardrails that you can't modify. You can't just like generate naked people. I mean, you shouldn't be doing that anyways. That's kind of weird. But I turned all of these off because I wanted to create zombies for one of my music videos that I was creating. So I just turned them all off. And for whatever reason, if it's off, it still blocks stuff. So you have to change it from off to block none if you want to turn them completely off. And then, I mean, if you want it to be a little bit more liberal, then you can turn it up. And then stop sequence, you don't really have to worry about for this. Like if you're automating processes to create images for like a blog post, you can add words like end. So as soon as it gets that word, it will stop generating. All right. So you don't really need to worry about that. Output length is the maximum size or complexity of the output. Now, this is more critical for text because a token is roughly 4 characters. In image generation, it can influence the level of detail or prevent the model from generating overly complex scenes or extensive accompanying text. So it's a good way to kind of limit the amount of power or influence that the model will output. Okay, so if you want something a little bit more less quality for whatever reason, you can lower the output length. And then top P is a setting that also controls randomness, but it does it in a different way. It basically works by creating a pool of the most likely next tokens or pieces of an image. And the value of all these tokens add up to this top P range, this top P value. So a simple analogy is if you say, imagine that the AI has a list of 100 possible elements to add to an image. Each piece of those, every single piece will add up to 100. Okay. So if you have a low top P, like 0.1, then the AI will only consider the absolute most popular choices, maybe the top 2 or 3, which leads to a very predictable and less diverse image. A high top P value like 9.5, which is basically the default, what I use, it's basically telling the AI to use a much wider range of possible elements, including less obvious ones. And this essentially just allows for more variety and surprise in the output. All right, and with all those settings out of the way, we can just go in and start creating, and I'll show you a little bit more of the settings as we actually get into creating stuff. So the first project that I want us to create is developing a brand mascot. Okay, because Nano Banana is extremely good with character consistency. And not only is it good with character consistency, but with its conversational editing, we can literally talk to the model and have it edit minute, small details and change the image by just telling it what to do. So we're going to create a brand mascot. So the first thing, I'm going to include all these prompts below. If you're in the community, you'll know where to find them as well. So I'm just going to grab the prompt from the community, and it's just going to say, generate a character concept for a friendly, intelligent fox who is a tech startup founder. The fox should be wearing a modern dark gray turtleneck sweater and stylish glasses. The style should be clean, 3D digital illustration suitable for a brand mascot. Very basic prompt, so we're just going to run that. You can see our model response. It's going to take a few seconds, and there we go. Now, I don't really want any text in this image, so we can just go up here. If we click this little pencil, we can edit this turn. Okay, a turn is each sequence in the conversation with an AI. Okay, so every step in the conversation we have with this, we can modify and regenerate. Okay, so every turn can be modified. So we're going to go to this first turn, our first prompt, and then I'm just going to go with no text, please. We don't have to say please, but I'm just a nice guy, you know? So now click this to stop editing, and then we can just go rerun this turn, and then it will regenerate everything for this. Okay, there we go. Perfect. But let's say I don't want the logo right here. Bring this up a little bit. I don't want this logo, and I don't want a black turtleneck. I want a red turtleneck, or let's do a green turtleneck. So remove the logo. Or let's change the color of the turtleneck to green. And now if we run that, we can see just like that, everything else is the same aside from the changes that we want. And it is still blows my mind utilizing this tool. Like, it is so good, so good. It's exactly what we want. No logo, we change the color. All right, so now I'm going to say perfect. Now take that same fox character and show him standing next to a whiteboard, presenting a chart that shows upward growth. He should have a confident and friendly expression. So now we're changing the pose. We're changing the pose, and we're also changing the environment. But the character is unchanged. And just like that, boom, beautiful. You can see how important this kind of stuff is for businesses and brands. And I can only imagine where this stuff's going to go. Like, we are extremely early. This model's been out for like 4 days at the time of recording this. So if you're not in the community yet, the RPG, Gamifying Life and Business, join now. It's free at the time of recording this. Take action. Let's go. Let's continue. Now I have awesome. Now create a version of the fox character from the waist up, smiling and giving a thumbs up. He should be on a simple light blue background. This will be for a social media profile picture. And just like that, I cannot believe the power of this still. Like, it is so good, you guys. Like, the hair on the ears is like perfect. It is so perfect. I'm geeking out still. So the amount of value that you can bring to businesses and brands for creating mascots to create content that reflects their brand without them needing to do anything. You can imagine the kind of value that you can provide, right? So you can design their character, and then you can use that same character to create content and also like run their social media, basically. The second project that we are going to create is going to focus on text rendering and photography, specifically photographer style prompts. So we are going to create a promotional graphic for a fictional product. Very simple. So we're just going to paste that prompt and then we're going to run it. So this is create a photorealistic studio product shot of a sleek matte black water bottle. The bottle is sitting on a wet, dark slate surface with water droplets beating on it. Use dramatic side lighting to highlight the bottle's texture and create a moody, high-end feel. The background should be dark and out of focus. Perfect. No logo, nothing on it. Okay, now we are going to paste this second prompt. This looks amazing. Now add the words hydrate smarter in the upper right-hand corner. The text should be in a clean, modern, white sans serif font. Make it look like a professional advertisement. And just like that, we have a very basic sans serif font. Hydrate smarter. And unlike some of the other AI models, especially OpenAI's models, it looks extremely clean. There's no weird artifacts. It doesn't look like it's been written by AI. Extremely good. All right, now we're going to say excellent. Using the same product photo, change the text to limited edition release and place it at the bottom center. Give the text a subtle, glowing neon blue effect. So we're telling it to change the text, move the text, and add effects to the text. And just like that, we have our beautiful text at the bottom center, and it has the glow. Exactly what we want. So as you create stuff, just bear in mind that you are telling the AI what to do for you. You're not having to go into Photoshop, have to learn what tool to use, modify the settings, go to YouTube, watch tutorial after tutorial of different techniques to use. You just tell AI what you want and it does it. It's incredible. Now for the third project, I want to leverage a reference image. So we're going to upload an image. This will allow us to actually stylize the image or integrate different elements from a real photo into a generated one. This will allow us to manipulate it and integrate things into it. So let's say we have a client that has an online store, and this client sells coffee and coffee mugs. And this client comes to you, they have this basic stock image and they're like, hey, I want this to look better for the website. I want it to reflect our brand and I want a bunch of different versions of it for social media. Then we're going to go in here. We're going to upload the image of our coffee mug. And then we're going to put our prompt in here. And it's going to say, take this image of the coffee mug and transform it into a vibrant, ethereal watercolor painting. The background should be abstract and swirling with soft pastel blues and creams, making the coffee cup the central focus in a painterly style. And just like that, now we have a very watercolory-esque image. It's actually pretty cool. But now let's actually take that same coffee cup and generate a completely different scene. So let's re-upload it. And then we'll give it this prompt here. Using this coffee cup as a reference, generate a new photorealistic image. The coffee cup should be placed on a rustic wooden table next to a window overlooking a musty evergreen forest at dawn. The scene should evoke a feeling of peace and contemplation with a soft, natural light. So we have a good background, but the coffee mug is completely different than the source image. So that's much better. I changed the prompt a little bit. I just said the coffee cup should be placed on a rustic wooden table as opposed to telling it to generate a completely new image. It was a little confused, but this is exactly what we need for our imaginary client. But now our client comes to us and they say, hey, we just released a new color of our coffee mug. It's red and it has a smiley face emoji on it. And not only that, but I want this image to be for our website, the hero image for our website. And I want cool, intricate digital patterns for it. And if you don't know what a hero image is, it's basically the center of attention on a landing page website, just the main image. Now I have the prompt, make the mug red with a yellow smiley face on it. Add a repeating digital pattern background. The pattern should be minimalist and in a soft branded color palette of muted blues and grays. So we have the mug, exactly what we want, but it changed the background environment, like outside of the window. Now I'm just going to say center the mug in the shot and change the background completely to a repeating digital pattern. I told it to remove the background and isolate the mug in a plain white environment with repeating digital patterns. And now that actually looks terrible. It's what I asked it to do, but it was a bad decision. So now I just want a gradient background. I'm going to say change the background to a branded gradient. And when I say branded, it should remember that these are the brand colors. And it did. And just like that, my friends, we have a beautiful image for a website that took 30 seconds to create. The client's happy. we're happy, and their customers are happy. Everyone's happy. Now, hopefully you're happy. Hopefully this was very insightful. This was A to Z, everything you need to know about Nano Banana. Hopefully you're inspired to go and create some wonderful creations with this powerful tool. Want more prompts or the system to actually sell this as a service, in addition to a multitude of other things? Join the RPG community, gamified life and business. Be surrounded by fellow entrepreneurs, all playing the game of life and business, utilizing tools like this to live fulfilling lives. So, my friend, I'll see you inside. If not, I'll see you in the next video. Until then, my friend, keep leveling up. Peace.